next presentation from HID Global. It will be made by Rob Haslam. He is the VP of Global Sales for Citizen Identity Solutions. So Rob, the floor is yours. Welcome back.
Morning, everyone. Excuse my voice, I'm recovering from a head cold. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what I think and what we believe is a revolution coming to the world of travel documents. As you consider this phrase, the title of my presentation will of course be a bit of a giveaway here. I am of course referring to the smartphone. It's amazing, it really is amazing to me how many of the presentations here, I've been coming to ICAO for many, many years, how many of these presentations are now focused on mobile applications. Incredible for me to see. Only a few years ago, the content was all about inks, paper, holograms, physical security features. It's a real change. So, the icons behind me show a number of ways in which mobile phones have changed our lives, but it could also be a list of things that we used to carry in our bag, from books to maps to CDs to cameras, things that have migrated to these little slabs of metal and plastic we carry in our pockets. It's also a reflection of how an unimagined world of convenience has also been put in the palm of our hands, where you once have maybe gone to a library to find out the population of Brazil. Now what do? You just Google it on the train, right? So for those people who actually still use their phones to talk to people, imagine that. You know, some of us now would never imagine going into a phone booth on the street, unless we're superheroes, of course. So in a world where we can buy a plane ticket from our phone, pay for our coffee with it, you name it, our ID documents are arguably the last thing in that bag of stuff we used to carry yet to migrate to the phone. And by the way, the population of Brazil is 209.3 million. I Googled it just before I came up here on my phone. It's probably changed already since then. So what about identity on the phone? Well, things are changing. There are pilot projects for phone-based identity mushrooming all over the world. This is not a complete map of all of those. This just shows a few of them. A lot of them you can see are in North America. And indeed, the first live iteration, the first live project of a driving license on a phone has happened now in Louisiana. The mobile story has been led by driving licenses, I think for a number of reasons. But if I had to put forward one principal reason, I would say that it's predominantly because in the US you don't have a national ID, and of course your driver's license is the document you use to prove identity in all sorts of situations. So that's led a lot of activity in North America. But mobile ID isn't just about driving licenses. So what about passports? Well, today you're not likely to get very far presenting your passport on your phone at a border to an immigration officer. That doesn't mean things aren't happening. Here at ICAO, the working group is developing policies which will eventually evolve into standards to make the mobile passport an interoperable reality. But at the individual country level, things are already moving. Things are being implemented now, ahead of international alignment. Initially in a closed-loop environment specific to that country. I think the next step will be bilateral agreements with countries and their neighbours as we move towards full interoperability later on. A concrete example and a world first is coming soon. As part of their migration to an e-passport, which culminated in a presidential launch in January of this year, Tanzania is also going to be the first country in the world to issue a passport on a smartphone. Originally conceived as a convenient way of proving identity in the event of losing your passport while travelling or having your passport stolen, the government very quickly, in looking at the possibilities, saw a number of additional potential benefits. And so, where they were initially going to call this the emergency mobile passport, they've decided they're going to call it a mobile electronic passport. So, before looking at potential future applications, let's take a quick look excuse me, at the use of the emergency passport, the use case of the emergency passport. This is the case where using a virtual version of your passport on your phone, issued either along with the physical booklet or before travelling to your phone, issued to your phone, you can use that mobile credential as a means of securely establishing your identity in an embassy or a consulate to get a replacement or an emergency travel document issued. We've spoken to a number of governments around the world, a number of government customers, and established that a process that currently can take 1 to 2 days could be cut to a few seconds with this new technology. An embassy or consulate equipped with the right reading software and minimal training of staff can establish both the identity of the person reporting a lost or stolen passport and the existence and validity of that original document in a single, simple step compared to an average of 4 administrative processes today. But the use cases don't stop at the emergency passport or the issuance of a replacement document. Now that your passport is a computer and a communication device, the uses become almost unlimited. There are half a dozen scrolling on the slide here behind me. But one very important one where we're seeing huge interest from governments all over the world is information when travelling. So think of the benefits to travellers and to governments of scenarios like natural disasters, epidemics, terrorist incidents. If your passport application on your phone, when you arrive in a foreign country, could alert your embassy to your arrival, and of course to your departure when your phone disassociates itself from the local network, you open up a whole new world of security and other updates and push notifications. And of course, for the government, knowing who you're not searching for when the worst happens is a huge benefit because you know that person has already left the country. We don't have time today to go through the many use cases opened up once your travel document moves onto your phone. But needless to say, even ahead of full interoperability, when we will be crossing borders with our phones, and I think all the presentations over the last couple of days show that people believe this really is coming, the list of benefits to both travellers and to issuers is limitless. Thank you for listening, and you can come and see us. I have no idea if we're on booth 7 or, as I was told yesterday, booth 15, but it doesn't matter because I know numbers on the booths, but we're just out there and to the right. I look forward to anybody coming along and having a chat about the possibilities. I can also take questions now. I believe I've got a couple of minutes if anybody has any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rob. Well, to find your booth, I guess we can use Google Map, eh? That should do it. Okay, our next speaker before the coffee break is from De La Rue. His name is Tom Hoyt, and he is Business Development Director, Identity. Is Tom here? Tom is not here. Do I have the right? Okay. Let's check the list. One moment. I have a suggestion. We'll wait a few minutes because our previous speakers have been kind enough to accelerate their presentations just a bit. Tom was supposed to be on at about 10 after 10 instead of 10 to 10. So with your cooperation, if you wouldn't mind remaining in the hall for a few minutes, and then we'll try to track him down. Okay, thank you.